Time to take a little trip.
On sale at JCPenney.
That's right, yes. Time for us to find out what's on the mind of Matt Archbold. Matt, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Matt.
I am actually on my way in my truck to the dog park to eat a panini just because of what you just said.
Oh, you've brought it all together.
Hey, I want to say this real quick. J.D. Vance, big thing going on right now. He's taken on a new moniker by those enemies of his. They say he's weird. J.D. Vance is weird. And you know what his response has been? And I've heard this. He said, "Have you met Matthew Archbold?"
Actually, I have some very successful news about Matt Archbold today.
All right.
Who you know?
So my daughter, and you guys were there back in the beginning when I was, coaching her in basketball. I used
grew
to
up
give
with
you
her.
guys the update. Yeah. Just the other day, she committed to play basketball at the Catholic University of America.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Are you serious? How fabulous is that? And she attributes it all to you?
Offers, obviously, it's all me. I didn't even think that was worth talking about. I mean, you know me, I'm not one to toot my own horn.
Yeah,
Therein lies the problem.
But yeah, she had a lot of offers to play at all sorts of different levels, and but she wanted to go to a faithful Catholic college, and she chose the Catholic University of America.
Good for her.
Yeah,
Wow.
Fabulous.
we could not be more thrilled. And this marks the first time that I am taking credit rather than accepting blame for something my children did.
And look, that's not too far from home, right, Matthew? I mean, that's a decent little drive, but not a flight.
No, two and a half hours for the opportunity to continue yelling at my daughter is well worth it,
And also going down and giving
acceptable
instructions to the coach, right? Like, Coach, hold on, let me talk to you about this.
Maybe not freshman year, but we'll, maybe by sophomore year.
Got to save something, yeah.
I don't want it to affect her playing time. It is funny though because her AAU season just ended, and this is just like the CYO thing ending. You do get really tight with these other parents.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden it's over, and it's just done, and you're just like, okay, well, all right, see ya.
Yeah, right. Probably won't see you, but see you anyway. Yeah,
I know it's just sort of funny the way it works, but you just keep moving on, and but yeah. So, is there anything going on in the world recently that might that Catholics are talking about?
Nothing bigger than what's happening with your daughter. We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
The first 3 days of this week, my website was down.
Oh wow!
I was dying. I was absolutely dying to try to post about everything that was going on. There was a great take. Do you know Karen Hall at all?
Karen
She's
Hall.
a Catholic. She's a Catholic writer. She just wrote a book about Father Paul Minkowski, Sound of Silence.
No, not
You should
familiar.
have her on because she's a great writer. She wrote for MASH and Moonlighting and a number of other television shows. And she just wrote a book about Father Paul Minkowski. She would love to be on your show. But
And her name is?
she Karen Hall.
Karen Hall, okay.
So she had a great thing. She said, it's so disturbing that not one Olympic athlete has stood up against what happened in that opening ceremony. And, a lot of people said in response to her, they said, these people have trained their whole lives, to do these events. So to ask them to say, I'm not partaking in the Olympics or something like that, that's too much to ask. And she said, these people have trained their entire lives so that at this moment they could stand up and say, I won't take part in Olympics like this. And think about the kind of witness that would, that would be the talk of the event,
right?
Something like that. And maybe that's what we're going to have to do at some point. Just say, you know what, we're not taking part in this because what it was is not what it is. and I shudder to think what it's going to become.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And look, we have a pretty good understanding at this point that the trajectory continues to go in a negative direction at this point, and people are going to have to stand up and give up things in order to stand up for their faith going forward. It's a given. We've seen it in the past. It's going to come back around.
Right. Did you see that female boxer who stopped the fight mid-match because she was fighting against essentially a man pretending to be a woman, and she just stopped the fight and then got on her knee and said, "This is unjust." And the fight was over. The joke was, I'm old enough to remember when hitting a woman was a bad thing.
Yeah, right.
You know,
and I don't really understand how this happened, because I thought there were rules in place with the Olympics that this wouldn't happen, and yet they let two men come forward on the boxing stuff. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, what happened? That would be the last one you should monkey with.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a swimmer or a runner, the worst that happens is you lose the race. In fighting, you can kill someone.
Yeah.
It's just insane. You're really putting their lives in peril, and it's all because, they're signaling their woke agenda, an anti-Christian agenda, and it's just terrible. I wrote an article about a Swiss family who lost their child, and they faced charges for not playing along with the daughter's gender confusion. And no one said that these people did anything bad. They're trying to find the best care they can for their child going through this gender dysphoria. But all these school administrators, psychologists, and doctors got involved, and now the daughter's taken from them, and they're facing charges. And, you'd be crazy to think that's not going to happen here. It's already happening with foster children or to adopt. It's happening. And, if we don't give things up voluntarily, everything's going to be taken from us involuntarily.
That's for sure. CreativeMinorityReports.com. I'm glad the site's back up. Thank you, Matthew Archbold.